Okay. Today's prophetic word is going to be a breaking forth part 3. A breaking forth part 3. Hey, okay. So where we last left off at is Tamar has been left at her father's house, I say, in her widowhood, and she's waiting on Judah's youngest son, Shelah, to grow up, Akaye, so that he can, Akaye, come into her and make offspring with her, in order to help carry her husband's legacy, which is heir, to help carry his legacy on, his family lineage, Akaye. So, what's going on here is Tamar has been waiting some time back at her father's house. Hey, and she's waiting on Judah, which is her father-in-law. She's waiting on her father-in-law to give his youngest son to her. But the father-in-law is scared because his 2 oldest sons has passed away. And the youngest one is all he has left. So that's all he has left. Okay. So where we are now is Judah is going up to Timnah, him and Hira, and they're going to sheep shear. Tamar has heard. Somebody that came, okay. So somebody went and told Tamar that Judah, which is her father-in-law, is getting ready to go up to Timnah. So somebody probably went to Tamar and was like, hey, we heard that Judah, your father-in-law, he gonna be in Timnah. So Tamar, what we're talking about is Tamar took off her widow's clothes, her clothes that, that she identified as a widow in. She took off her widow's clothes, and it talks about how she wrapped herself up. And she disguised herself, and she wrapped herself up in a veil. So with her wrapping herself up, her face was covered. Okay. And we talked about how when Judah is on his way to go to Timnah, he sees Tamar, but he thinks she's just a regular prostitute. A regular cult prostitute. And he does not know that it's Tamar. So in turn, Judah gives her an invitation, like, he want to have sex with her. Hey, he like, come, let me come into you. He want to have sex with her. So we talked about how Tamar's reply was, what will you give me that you may come into me? So Judah is trying to have sex with Tamar, but he thinks she's just a prostitute. So Judah is just trying to have sex with a prostitute, not knowing it's Tamar. And Tamar is asking him, what will you give me that you may come into me? She asking for payment. Okay, so we're going to pick up from right there. In Genesis chapter 38, verse 15, it says, When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face. He turned to her at the roadside and said, come, let me come into you. For he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. She said, what will you give me that you may come into me? He answered, I will send you a young goat from the flock. And she said, if you give me a plague until you send it. Hey, so here Tamar is asking, what will you pay me? So Judah is replying, I will give you a young goat from the flock. He gonna give her a young goat from his flock of animals. Okay. So she's saying, until then, give me a pledge. Like, give me something like, a pledge, a solemn, okay. A pledge is a solemn promise, okay. So she like, I need something to hold on to until I get my young goat, until you pay me. I need something to hold me over. Like something that I can know that you're going to come back and pay me, basically, okay. So it says in Genesis chapter 38, verse 17, he answered, I will send you a young goat from the flock. And she said, if you give me a plague until you send it. He said, what plague shall I give you? She replied, your signet ring, your signet and your cord and your staff that is in your hand. So he gave them to her and went into her, and she conceived by him. So here it is. Tamar is questioning Judah about payment. Okay, he does not know it's Tamar. He thinks it's a prostitute. So she's questioning him about payment. So he tells her, like, you know, he'll send back a young goat. Okay, he'll pay her by a young goat. So she, like, basically, until he's able to go get the young goat, she's like, you know, like, I need something now. Like, you know, so she can know he's going to come back. So he said, what plague shall I give you? So he like, what shall I give you? You know, okay. So she said, your signet and your cord and your staff that is in your hand. So he gave them to her and went into her, and she conceived by him. Hey, so here we have it. Tamar, we're going to do a recap, a short recap. I say Tamar has been left without offspring, which means without means of support. Okay. We talked about how this was dishonoring to her family lineage. Okay. So what Tamar plans to do is, Tamar makes a plan. She makes a plan. To secure her future, Tamar makes a plan. She disguises herself as a prostitute. She ends up deceiving Judah into having sex with her, because she deceived him. Okay. He did not know that was his daughter-in-law. I said. So she deceives Judah into having sex with her. And all the while we're reading, she asks him for personal items. Now listen, don't miss this. When Judah couldn't send the goat right away, Tamar proceeds to ask him for personal items that are very personal to him. So this part of the story is signifying that all these personal items are something that he can be uniquely identified by. Something that can serve as proof of his involvement. The thing she asked him for was symbolisms of his identity and his authority. Okay. Listen, she didn't ask for, hallelujah, she didn't ask for something that was meaningless. She asked for something that was pertaining to his identity and his authority. Okay. Something that would serve as proof of his involvement and him being involved with her. Okay. That way, he wouldn't be able to deny it. He would not be able to deny it. Okay. So let's see what's going to happen. Genesis chapter 38, verse, let's see where I'm going to start. 18. He said, what plague shall I give you? She replied, your signet and your cord and your staff that is in your hand. So he gave them to her and went into her, and she conceived by him. Pause. Tamar just got pregnant by her father-in-law, Judah. So he gave them to her and went into her, and she conceived by him. Then she arose and went away, and taking off her veil, she put on the garments of her widowhood. So when she left Judah, after she conceived, she just got pregnant by him. When she left him, she took off all the veil and all of that. She undisguised herself and put back on her widow clothes. Then she arose and went away, and taking off her veil, she put on the garments of her widowhood. When Judah sent the young goat by his friend, so pause. After this has occurred, Judah has slept with he thinks just a prostitute. He said he told the prostitute, which was Tamar, he told the prostitute he was going to send back a young goat. So now we have it here. Judah is sending back his friend with the young goat that he said he was going to bring. Genesis chapter 38, verse 20. When Judah sent the young goat by his friend, the Adulamite, to take back his plague from the woman's hand, he did not find her. And he asked the men of the place, where is the caught prostitute who was at Enam at the roadside? And they said, no caught prostitute has been here. Pause. So Judah done sent the young goat back so he could pay her payment. But when he get there, he doesn't find her. No, there's no cult, there's no cult prostitute there. So he asking the men that's around, like, like basically asking about the, like, y'all know that prostitute that be down here, and, asking about, asking about her. So they're like, there's no cult prostitute that be down here like that's in this area. That's what's happening. When Judah sent the young goat by his friend, the Adulamite, to take back the plague from the woman's hand, he did not find her. And he asked the men of the place, where is the cult prostitute who was at Enam at the roadside? And they said, no cult prostitute has been here. So he returned to Judah and said, I have not found her. Also, the men of the place said, no cult prostitute has been here. Pause. So his friend then went down there. Hira then went down there looking for the cult prostitute with the goat. Long story short, she's not down there. So he goes back, the Adulamite goes back and tell Judah, he has not found, he did not find her. So he coming back basically with the goat, like saying he didn't find her. And also they said no cult prostitute has been here. So they like, ain't no prostitute been here. The Adulamite is reporting these words back to Judah. Okay. It says in Genesis chapter 38, verse 23, and Judah replied, let her keep the things as her own, or we shall be laughed at. You see, I sent this young goat, and you did not find her. So Judah's reply is, when the Adulamite says he can't find the cult prostitute, Judah replies and says, let her keep the things as her own, or we shall be laughed at. You see, I sent this young goat, and you did not find her. About 3 months later, Judah was told, so pause. Now that's like the end of what happened as far as Judah thinking he just slept with a prostitute and that's it. Now, the story is getting ready to shift. So remind you, Judah just thought he slept with a prostitute and that was it. That was the end. Now the story is shifting and we're going back to talking about Judah and Tamar. Okay. The whole time it was Tamar, but nevertheless, just stick with me. So it says, and Judah replied, let her keep the things as her own, or we shall be laughed at. You see, I sent this young goat, and you did not find her. About 3 months later, Judah was told, Tamar, your daughter-in-law has been immoral. Moreover, she is pregnant by immorality. And Judah said, bring her out and let her be burned. Pause. So after 3 months later, after all this happened, about 3 months later, somebody comes to tell Judah that his daughter-in-law Tamar is pregnant by immorality. And so immorality is sex without marriage. So in turn, Judah says, bring her out and let her be burned. That's his reply. About 3 months later, Judah was told, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has been immoral. Moreover, she is pregnant by immorality. And Judah said, bring her out and let her be burned. And as she was being brought out, she sent word to her father-in-law, by the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant. And she said, please identify who these are, the signet, and the cord and the staff.